In a realm where the whisper of the wind carried forgotten stories and the shadows of ancient mountains cradled humble villages, lived a young man named Jake. Life for Jake was a relentless grind, a daily struggle against the persistent gnaw of poverty. His small hut, nestled on the outskirts of the village of Oakhaven, offered little comfort against the biting winters or the despair of an empty stomach. Day after day, he sought work in the fields or by the river, but fate seemed to have forgotten his name, leaving him with only the meagerest of earnings, barely enough to keep the embers of hope from dying out completely. His clothes were patched, his shoes worn, and his youthful spirit, though resilient, was often dimmed by the harsh realities of his existence. One crisp autumn afternoon, as Jake trudged along a dusty path, his shoulders slumped with weariness, he encountered an old man. The man was a curious sight, his frame slight, but his eyes sharp and bright, like polished river stones. He sat by the wayside, his silver hair catching the fading sunlight, 3 large canvas bags resting beside him. He looked up at Jake, a gentle smile creasing his weathered face. "Young man," the old man called out, his voice surprisingly clear, "you look like one who knows the value of honest labor." Jake paused, intrigued. "I know the value of an honest meal, old sir, which is often harder to come by." "Indeed," the old man chuckled. "Perhaps we can help each other. I am bound for the next village, across the winding river, and my old bones are no match for these burdens. I can manage 2 of these bags myself, but the third, alas, is too heavy for a man of my years." He gestured to the 3 bags, all seemingly identical in size and shape. "Carry 1 bag for me to the other side, and I shall give you 3 gold coins for your trouble." Jake's eyes widened. 3 gold coins? It was more than he earned in a month. Despite the weight of the bags, which looked substantial, the promise of such wealth ignited a spark within him. "I agree, old sir," he said, his voice imbued with a renewed energy. "Lead the way." The old man nodded, a mysterious twinkle in his eyes. "Excellent. Now, take this first bag." He handed Jake one of the canvas sacks. It felt heavier than Jake anticipated, dense and clinking softly with each shift. "This one," the old man explained, "is filled with bronze coins, hard-earned and honest." Jake hoisted the bag onto his shoulder. The weight dug into him, but the thought of the gold coins at the end of his journey spurred him onward. He followed the old man through the whispering woods until they reached the banks of the swift-flowing river. With a determined grunt, Jake waded into the cold water, the current tugging at his legs, the bag feeling like a leaden anchor. He pushed through, his muscles aching, until he finally reached the opposite bank, dripping wet but triumphant. The old man, meanwhile, had crossed with surprising agility, carrying 2 bags, seemingly without effort. Jake placed the bronze-filled bag carefully on the dry earth. He watched as the old man, without a moment to pause, gestured to the second bag. "Now, young man," he began, his voice taking on a slightly more testing tone, "I find I am more tired than I thought. Could you perhaps carry another for me? This one," he said, patting the canvas, "contains silver coins, far more valuable than the bronze." A sigh escaped Jake's lips. His shoulders already protested, and his arms trembled. But the lure of the gold was potent, and a second bag, if it truly contained silver, might mean an even greater reward. He envisioned a warm meal, a sturdy pair of shoes, perhaps even a small repair for his crumbling hut. He agreed, though a flicker of annoyance stirred within him. The old man was certainly pushing his luck. Again, Jake took the bag, which indeed felt heavier, the clinking sound different, sharper, more resonant. He descended into the river, the second crossing proving even more arduous than the first. The cold seemed to bite deeper, the current stronger, and the weight on his back a monumental burden. He stumbled, regained his footing, and finally, with a gasp of effort, hauled himself and the bag onto the far bank. He dropped the bag, breathing heavily, his chest heaving. The old man was already there, his gaze fixed intently on Jake. A moment of silence passed between them, broken only by the rush of the river and Jake's ragged breaths. Then the old man smiled, a faint, almost imperceptible curve of his lips. "You are strong, Jake, stronger than many, but I confess this last bag is truly the heaviest of all. It contains gold coins, the finest, the brightest, a king's ransom, some might say." Jake's wariness warred with a sudden, intoxicating surge of excitement. Gold coins? A king's ransom? He could scarcely imagine such wealth. But then the old man's next words chilled the rising warmth in his chest. "I will ask you to carry this final bag, Jake," the old man continued, his voice softer now, yet edged with an unspoken plea. "But I must ask for your promise. Promise me you will not run away with it. I am an old man, and if you were to flee with such treasure, I would have no hope of catching you." Jake bristled. Annoyance, sharp and unwelcome, pricked him.
Hadn't he proven his honesty by carrying the first 2 bags without complaint, despite his growing fatigue? Did the old man truly believe him capable of such treachery? Yet as he looked at the final, seemingly bulging bag, a dark seed of an idea began to sprout in the fertile ground of his exhaustion and desire. Gold coins, a king's ransom, all for him. The old man was frail, slow. Who would know? Who would stop him? He could simply disappear into the night, leaving his poverty behind forever. He pushed the thought away, or so he told himself, but it lingered, a tempting serpent coiling in the back of his mind. He took a deep breath, forcing a semblance of calm onto his face. "I promise, old sir," Jake said, his voice perhaps a shade too quick, too eager. "I would never betray your trust."
With a forced smile that didn't quite reach his eyes, Jake took the 3rd bag. It was indeed heavier, denser than the others. Its weight, a thrilling promise, and a terrible burden. Each step back into the river was a battle, not just against the current, but against the insidious whispers of greed that now echoed louder in his mind. Run, flee, this is your chance. No one will ever know. He could feel the imagined weight of the gold, see the glittering pile in his hut, transforming his life. The image of the old man, alone and helpless, flickered for a moment, then was swallowed by the blinding prospect of immense wealth. He struggled across, his body screaming in protest, his mind a tempest of conflicting desires. He could feel the promise of a better life, not earned, but stolen, tempting him at every splash of the water. Yet something held him back, a faint echo of his innate decency, a fear of what he might become if he truly succumbed. Or perhaps it was simply the old man's steady gaze, watching him from the bank, that kept his feet moving towards the designated spot. Finally, drenched and utterly spent, Jake emerged, dropping the 3rd bag with a heavy thud beside the others. The old man approached him, his face unreadable. He handed Jake a small, heavy pouch. 3 gold coins, as promised, young man. You have done well. He then collected his bags, turned, and with a nod, continued on his way towards the next village, leaving Jake alone on the riverbank, the sun beginning to set, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. Jake stared at the pouch in his hand, then at the receding figure of the old man. 3 gold coins. Just 3. His initial elation had curdled into a bitter resentment. All that effort, all that temptation, for just 3 coins, when he had carried a king's ransom? The dark thoughts, suppressed during the final crossing, now surged forth, fiery and consuming. He felt cheated, wronged. He had been so close to seizing unimaginable wealth, to escape his wretched life, and he had let it slip through his fingers. A profound regret settled over him, cold and heavy. He clutched the 3 gold coins, feeling their meager weight, and turned back towards his village, his head bowed, the imagined glint of stolen gold mocking him with every step. The journey home was filled with a dull ache, not just in his body, but in his spirit. The opportunity, the grand escape, had been right there. Why hadn't he taken it? Upon reaching his small, dark hut, Jake tossed the 3 gold coins onto his rough wooden table. His gaze then fell upon the 3 bags he had carried, still resting where the old man had left them at the riverbank before continuing on his way. No, wait! He had seen the old man take his 2 bags, and Jake had left the 3rd where he'd put it. But as he had turned to leave, he could have sworn he saw the old man turn back towards the remaining bag, perhaps to collect it. Had the old man forgotten something? Or was there something more to this encounter? A sudden, gnawing suspicion, fueled by his earlier thoughts of greed, gripped him. He decided he needed to know what was truly in those bags. After a moment of hesitation, fueled by a mix of lingering curiosity and a flicker of what-if hope, Jake retraced his steps to the riverbank. There, beneath the pale moonlight, he found not 3, but a single forgotten bag. It was the 3rd bag, the one supposedly filled with gold coins. The old man must have truly forgotten it in his haste, or perhaps left it for Jake as a final unspoken test. With trembling hands, Jake tore open the canvas. His heart pounded with anticipation. Gold! A shimmering pile of it, waiting to change his life forever. But instead of the glorious gleam of gold, his eyes met only dull, ordinary small stones. Just stones. His mouth fell open, a gasp of utter disbelief escaping him. The 1st bag too, which he had also retrieved from the bank, when he opened it, also contained only stones. And the 2nd? Again, only stones.
Not bronze, not silver, not gold. A wave of confusion, then a crushing disappointment washed over him. He felt like a fool, tricked, misled. He reached into the third bag again, his fingers brushing against something crisp and flat. It was a folded piece of parchment. He pulled it out, his eyes scanning the elegant script by the dim light filtering through his hut's doorway. The note read, "To the young man who carried my burdens. I am not merely an old man, but a king, though my crown weighs heavier than any bag of stones. For too long my kingdom has been without a true heir, and I have sought one with a heart of gold, not merely a love for it. I traveled disguised, testing the spirits of those I met. I offered bronze, then silver, then gold, not to pay for your strength, but to weigh your honesty. Each bag was filled with simple stones, for true wealth lies not in what one carries, but in how one carries oneself. When you carried the first bag, you did so with an honest heart, though tired. When you carried the second, a flicker of annoyance and desire stirred, yet you persevered. But when I spoke of the third, the bag of gold, and asked for your promise, the darkness in your heart truly took root. I saw the greed in your eyes, Jake, felt the tremor of your resolve as you envisioned running away, abandoning an old man for a fleeting illusion of wealth. Your thoughts, Jake, were those of theft, of betrayal. Had you carried that last bag with an honest heart, your promise unmarred by temptation, you would not have found stones, you would have found a crown, for you would have proven yourself worthy of my kingdom. But in that moment of avarice, though you did not act upon it, you forfeited your chance. Remember this, young Jake. Our thoughts are the seeds of our actions. Our actions repeated become our habits, and our habits, whether noble or ignoble, ultimately shape our future. Control your negative thoughts, nurture honesty, and you may yet find a different kind of kingdom within yourself. The parchment slipped from Jake's nerveless fingers. He stared at the stones, then at the note, his mind reeling. A king, an heir, a kingdom, all of it lost. Not because he had stolen, but because he had thought of stealing. His own greed, his fleeting moment of avarice, had cost him a destiny he couldn't have even dreamed of. The weight of his missed opportunity was heavier than any bag he had ever carried, a profound and painful realization that settled deep into his soul. The moon outside shone on the quiet village, and Jake, now truly alone, understood that the greatest treasures were not found in bags of gold, but in the untarnished chambers of the human heart.